Today I'm going to be finishing the cross braces and installing the top on this. Hopefully I'll get to cut the table saw in and fit it and brace it up. We'll see how it goes. And I've already gone through and marked where all my cross members are going to be in here. Now all I have to do is pre-drill them and set them. This time I thought ahead and I got 2 drills out. I got the melamine top set up here to cut it. Got all my saws out and realized I do not have a blade that'll cut this without just chipping the edge all to heck. So I went to the store and I've got 2 saws. I've got a DeWalt with a 6.5 blade and I've got a skill saw with a 7.25. So I'm going to try 2 different blades here. I got this Avante for cutting. I'm going to try that 140 tooth. And I've got a 60 tooth 7.25 Diablo for the skill saw. I'm going to try them both on the edge since I have a little extra here. I'm just going to buzz the edge of the wood and see which one chips the least. For the top of the bench, I decided to do it in 2 sections here. My main platform here and then a small one over on the side here. Just because on the end of the saw there I got to leave a 3/8 inch gap just for the saw guide to clip onto, and it's going to come all the way across so I can run it. So there's no sense in doing one solid piece. I'll put this piece in later. Right now I've got this board lined up absolutely square with the saw blade, and the way I've done that is run a T-square off a 6 foot, and I've probably checked it a half a dozen times to make sure that the edges of this board are absolutely lined up with the blade. And then I'll start working on the router table that'll go in here. Bottom side, before I cinch this thing down, I don't have to work right up against a 2x4. I got some of this iron-on melamine edging. So I've done a cut a length of this, and I'm going to tape it down the sides, just a loose tape, just so it doesn't fall on the floor while I'm doing it. And as I guide it with the iron, I'll take the tape off. I have never done this before, so we'll see how it goes. This whole thing all the way down. Barely put that on the edge of there, just a little bit, just to hang it up. Or that attaches quick. It's hot. That is working well though. Make sure it binds good on the corners. Is that always where I see these tearing off. I got that edge on there. I got to trim it off. And I tried a couple things here. I tried a razor knife, which worked fine. Didn't get it real close. And I got a really sharp chisel. And the chisel seems to work best. I can lay the handle right on the counter or on the tabletop. Put my thumb here, hold it down, and all I got to do is run it forward. And it doesn't scratch the melamine. This stuff's really tough. You just peel that edge right off there. Now I found if I keep the blade instead of straight at a 45, it cuts a lot better. And I go over it a second time just to make sure I got it down as far as I can. I don't have any high spots. And after it's done, it looks professional. It looks like something you buy at the store, but it's got a little bit of an edge to it. So what I've done, I got a piece of 280, I think, sandpaper in here. And I'm just running it over the top of this. All I'm doing is back and forth. But that is no longer a sharp edge. And there are no gaps, no chips, no scratches from the sandpaper. That come off smooth. Alright, so I'm going to mount this angle bracket right in here. And what I want to do is make sure it's not sticking up above the table. So I'm going to take this straight edge and just set it here. You kind of check it. And then I'll hold that in place and run a screw in. be careful not to strip that out of there. I'm gonna double check, make sure it's sitting exactly flush with my top. That is perfect. The top itself, the weight's gonna hold down. These are just gonna hold it in place and make sure it's not floating up a little bit anywhere. I'm gonna go around the rest of the table, fasten more down. Alright, I've got my piece in there where the router table is going to sit in. And I've lined it up for my gauge that I'm going to continue across here. So that's going to be just my slide edge. And then I'll put a piece of hardwood over here where this 2x is to continue this gauge across and have a backstop. The next part I got to work on is the slide for the end of this. If you look at the end of the guide, it's got a little hook in it that hooks in under the saw there. And I need to put that into this piece. So all I've gotten is a keyhole bit here on my router. And I'm going to cut out that groove in the back of the board here, right along the back side. I'll cut it right into here. Not sure how well you can see that, but that's that little keyhole cut I put in there. Alright, that's the end of my guide in here. It slides across nice. So when I want to clamp it down, that little hook clips right into there. So I've got the saw in there and I got the top mounted down. It sits in there pretty flush. Top is solid. This thing is not going anywhere. In part 3 we'll do the miter slots and finish off this table.